لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا. أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والذين جاهدوا فينا لنهدينهم سبلنا وإن الله لمع المحسنين. وقال عليه الصلاة والسلام: لغدوة أو روحة في سبيل الله خير من الدنيا وما فيها.
My dear brothers and respected elders, everybody is involved in some sort of effort, but not every person is successful in his effort. Everybody is involved in an effort, but not every person is successful in his effort. The successful one is that person who, in his effort of Dawah, has adopted the method of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because the way to success is the deen of Allah. The way to success is that deen of Allah that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has brought. The creation, the universe, or anything in it is not the way or the means of success. People are making effort on the creation. Even if they gain some sort of success, then this is only for the non-Muslims. But for the believers, there is no success in this. For the believers, the only way to success is deen. For the believers, the only way to success is the deen of Allah. For the believers, only deen is the way to success. Those people who do not believe in Allah and the disbelievers, their means of their success is only the dunya, and that is the limit. Therefore, the creation, the universe, and whatever it contains is not a means of any success for the believers. And people have started believing this now. This is the biggest mistake people have made. That the people, the Muslims of this era, this time, believe that the creation and the apparent means of this world are a means of success. The reason why this is wrong, because there are many changes that take place in the creation. Things don't remain. There are weapons, but there is no protection. There is medicine, but there is no shifa. There is wealth, but there is no happiness. There is the sun, but no light. There is a moon, but then that also sets. You will find that the entire creation continues to change, and there is no guarantee of anything. People have shops, businesses, but they are not earning anything from it. थोड़ा गड़बड़ है, लेकिन आवाज़ आ रही है, कट कट के आ रही है. एडजस्ट किया वहाँ से भी यहाँ से भी, लेकिन थोड़ा ऐसे कट कट के आती है आवाज़. हेडफोन में निकाल, हेडफोन निकाल. Because people have started believing this now, believing that the created things of the world, these are also now a means of success. People have started to drift away from the deen. The reason why people have fallen into this deception is because people have started to believe that dunya and the created things of dunya are also asbab. They are also a means. Whatever is a creation in this universe. This could be a result of the Qudrat of Allah, but it is not actually the Qudrat of Allah. Allah's Qudrat is only with Allah. The entire universe has been created with the Qudrat of Allah. Nobody can say that Jibreel al-Islam, being the greatest of all creation, that he is Qudrat of Allah. No, he has been created by the Qudrat of Allah. There is no Qudrat of Allah in the creation, and nor is there any promise of success with the creation. People look for the Qudrat of Allah and the means of success in the creation, in the universe. People basically are believing that Allah has created a system and now the system is running on its own accord. Therefore we have to adopt the system in order to get success. But this is not the case. The dunya is not a means, because the dunya, the creation keeps changing, whereas Allah's sunnah, Allah's ways do not change. So what is the way? That the means of success that Allah has decided is the deen of Allah. The prophets that used to come to explain exactly this. All the nations used to believe in the era, whatever system they had fallen into, used to believe that this is our success and this is the means of our success. The prophets would come, but the nations would say that, look, our experience is telling us that this is the way to success. What we are seeing, the prophets would come and say that, no, this is not a means of success for you. But the commands of Allah are a means of success for you. My dear brothers and respected listeners, not every person who is making an effort is successful. Successful is that person who understands the true ways of success and the true ways of failure. Because the true ways of success and failure do not change. Whereas in the creation, within the universe, the entire creation, everything keeps changing. These changes are actually created by Allah in order for us to recognize Allah. This is for the ta'aruf of Allah, to introduce Allah to the people, to the recognition of Allah, all these changes that take place. But the people who, while observing the changes of the creation, refrain from connecting the creation to the creation, only that person will reach Allah. You have to listen to this carefully and understand. Today the science of the world and the apparent system of the dunya is teaching the Muslims that whatever changes take place within the universe are taking place because of the universe. And the creation is changing because of another creation. This is what is being taught. And this is an internal shirk. This is the shirk inside the people. That whatever changes are taking place are taking place because of another creation. And people believe that the system of the universe is running because of the universe itself. And whatever new thing happens or occurs in the creation of Allah is happening because of another creation. So if an earthquake happens, the scientists tell you that these are the reasons why the earthquake happened. And all these reasons that they give are connected to some other creation. They will say that this illness comes because of this kind of weather. That this illness is related to this weather. The earthquake is happening because of the tectonic plates within the ground. The dying of the stars. Likewise, every kind of change within the universe, they will explain in such a way that this change is happening because of this, this and this, that people will stop even thinking that what is the involvement of Allah in this. And this has been happening for ages and ages. Whereas it is mentioned that even if one leaf falls from a tree, that leaf falls with the hukum of Allah, the command of Allah. Even if one leaf falls from a tree, it falls with the command of Allah. There is no connection at all of this with another creation of Allah. People tell you that this illness you will get in this particular weather. And before that weather, the season arrives, people take certain medications. This is an ill thought towards Allah. This is an ill thought towards Allah. Allah says, if that's what you believe, fine. Then you believe that. And I'll even give you that illness. Whereas the true belief is that the entire creation gathered together cannot give me an illness without the will of Allah. And the entire creation gathered together cannot give me shifa without the will of Allah. My dear brothers, we have to, in order to take the benefit from the qudrat of Allah, from the power of Allah, from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself, you have to take out the yaqeen of the creation from your heart. So as I was saying, people have connected the system of the universe with the universe itself. That if this happens, then this happens. If this happens, then this happens. And if a person starts to believe this, he's actually starting to reject Allah. People accept the creation, the existence of Allah. People accept the existence of Allah, but we do not believe that whatever is happening in the entire universe is happening only by Allah. Whereas everything that happens, every change that takes place is happening with the command of Allah. Ibrahim alayhi salam understood this at the first instance. That the sun, the moon and the stars, that they're coming and they're going is not based on them itself. And there's no creation that brings and takes these away. That the coming and the going of these creations, the system of these creations is being run by somebody else. There's somebody else working behind this system. Within the creation itself, they have no ability or capabilities, neither to make themselves appear or disappear. Ibrahim alayhi salam taught this to the entire creation. That all of what is happening is being run by someone else. So he rejected all these creations. He rejected the sun, the moon, the stars. Then other things came in front. First of all, the baby, the child looks at the face of the mother. Then later says that it's a father that is sustaining and maintaining. whereas every creation is actually dependent upon the same thing. How can then one creation maintain another creation? Another was to be asked, who maintains you, who sustains you? If the Father say that the Father sustains and maintains, but then who looks after the Father? You would ask, and people used to believe that Namrud is the one looking after everyone. But then when the question is, who sustains and maintains the Namrud? Nobody has had an answer for this. Then Ibrahim al-Islam used to think that how could it be that if Namrud is just like the rest of the people, and if he's looking after everyone, then how could he be without, in such a state where nobody's looking after him? If a person wants to turn his eyes away from the creation and towards the Creator, it cannot happen if a person does not reject the creation. The changes in the universe are for the recognition of Allah. Whatever happens in the world are for us a means for us to recognize Allah. Because through the creation, recognizing the Creator is the way of Hidayat. Recognizing the Creator through the creation is the way of Hidayat. Ibrahim al-Islam through the creation rejected all the creations, and only then he recognized Allah. The powers of that time, the superpowers of the time, they would say that if you take us as your deity, and then we will provide for you, otherwise we will stop providing for you. Today we actually believe the same thing. We believe that the leaders and the big people of the world are the ones that are providing for us. Therefore we have to submit to their desires. And if we do not submit to the desires of these people, then we will suffer and will not get what we need and want. But Ibrahim al-Islam rejected all of this. So Namrud said, we're not going to give anything for him to eat. Once he doesn't get anything to eat, then he will end up believing that I am his creator and sustainer. Today, if we praise the creation of Allah, if we praise the makhluk, they will get happy with us, but Allah will become displeased. If we praise the creation, if we praise the high-ranking people and the leaders of the world, they'll get happy and they will provide us for us, but Allah will become displeased. So when you praise someone, you say that you're the one that will do for us, you're the one that can help us, then the person listening to this gets happy. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam brought the Sahaba up on such level of Tawheed through Dawah. How do you do this? He said that continue to talk about the oneness of Allah, otherwise the Ghairullah will settle itself into your heart, will live in your heart. So continue to talk about the oneness of Allah, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is alone in every aspect. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is alone in every aspect that you can imagine. In His existence, in His ability, in His power. He is unique and He is alone in this. that all of the Anbiya alayhimus salam, all the prophets combined cannot have any effect on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is beyond all of this. Whatever Allah desires, in this there is no part or portion of any of the prophets. Allah does exactly how He wills. People think that if this leader desires, then the job will be done. If so and so, from within the government, if he decides, then this job will be done very easily. So get him on your side. The Jews said that you people say that Allah desired and Muhammad desired and therefore this thing was done. Why do you say this? Why don't you just say that only because Allah desired, that's why it happened? Sahaba came to Nabi and said this to Nabi. They said that never say that it happened with the will of Allah and His Rasul. Nabi said, never say this. But rather you should say that only through the decision of Allah alone this happened. All the creation from before, from the past and the future desire to do something, but Allah does not want. Allah is independent of this. Only that will happen which Allah wills. Allah will not say, if everybody is wanting, okay, I might as well do. No, there is no influence of Allah subhanahu like this. Allah does exactly as He wills. If all of the prophets together combined exert their whole power to bring hidayah to one person, this cannot happen until and unless Allah desires it. Today people think that if the leaders of a country, if they desire it, if they want it, then it will happen. But that's not the case. If the whole country was to get together, if the desire of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, so there are also people who think that the awliya, the friends of Allah, if they desire something, it happens. But no, if the Prophet's desires are not fulfilled, if the desire of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was not fulfilled, then where is the level of the awliya compared to the prophets? And then if we think what really is the status of the leaders of a country, they have no level at all compared to this. The reason why we have these thoughts is because our hearts are filled with the effects of the creation of Allah. Ibrahim alayhi salam, he rejected all of these kinds of creation. So Namrud went against him. So he rejected the living creations. He rejected Namrud, but he also rejected the statues as well. And then he broke the statues. Ibrahim Islam, when he broke the statues, was not for the sake of breaking, a block of clay, but he wanted to break the false yaqeen that the people had on these things. The mushrik says, I will get my treatment done and then Allah will give me shifa. But I have to get my treatment done first. Exactly who he's talking about. So he's basically explaining, I missed a sentence, but he's basically explaining that the people who are committing shirk, the mushrik, actually relies upon the means before accepting that Allah will do. So the mushrikeen, they will adopt the means and then say that now that we've adopted the means, Allah will give us a benefit for this. That we will do the treatment and then Allah will give us shifa. We will adopt the means to earn, then Allah will give us and provide us through those means. This is what Ibrahim a.s. was breaking when he was breaking the statues. False belief. When he denied the living means and the lifeless means, meaning the statues, then the system of the time went against him. So the Muslims today also say that we have no choice. The situation we are in, if you accept that this person can't actually help us, then the issues will be resolved. Whereas if you actually praise and think great of the creation of Allah, then issues are created, they are not resolved. If a person praises the Ghairullah, then issues are created, not resolved. In the hadith it comes to the effect that when Ibn Adam and the son of Adam praises the creation of Allah, then Allah leaves that person to the creation of Allah. And then only problems occur through this. So Ibrahim a.s. first, when he rejected the creations of Allah, then they stopped his rizq. Then Allah said, now that he's rejected the creation, they will see how I provide. Our works, our jobs and our occupation in this world, these are apparent means that we see. The land that we see is growing crops. We see how a cow giving milk. If these were actually true means, then the Sahaba and Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam would not be given milk without the goats. All the caskets of the cases of alcohol that were brought, Allah converted all this into honey. The haram, forbidden thing, Allah converted into pure honey and a means of shifa. And Allah is proving that Allah controls everything. Allah can change the effect of something. Allah can completely change something. One is Allah can change the effect of something or the thing itself completely. Sometimes Allah changes the effect of things. Sometimes He changes the thing completely. That the cases of alcohol, Allah converted them into honey. Allah can change the alcohol into honey. And if Allah desires, can give milk without a cow, without a goat. Umar took milk from such a goat that was actually not even old enough to produce milk. A mushrik woman said that there is none of my goats give milk. Umar said that milk actually comes from Allah. Milk comes from Allah, not from the goat. Bring a goat to me and bring me a big container, and the entire family drank milk. And he also took as much milk as he wanted. And the rest of the milk he gave to the woman. It was Abu Bakr Siddiq radhiyallahu anhu. It wasn't Umar, it was Abu Bakr Siddiq radhiyallahu anhu. She started naming Abu Bakr radhiyallahu anhu and named him Mubarak. She used to refer to him as Mubarak, that he is a blessed person. We think that our health and our treatment will come through the means of medicine and the medical system of the world. Just like we see the means today, the mushrikeen of the past also had the same in front of them. They adopted other things as the deity, and they said that through these means we will get. And they would make statues. The two kinds of means that people believe in, the mutaharrik and the ghair mutaharrik. Mutaharrik meaning the living kind of creation, like Namrud and the living things that have life in it, sun, moon, stars. And then there's the ghair mutaharrik, which is the lifeless things like statues. Ibrahim and Islam rejected both kinds of these creations, because accepting any one of these takes a person to shirk. So when he rejected Namrud, he stopped the rations and the means of sustenance of Ibrahim and Islam. Then what did Allah do? A sack full of soil, Allah converted into flour. Because Ibrahim and Islam, when he rejected the creation, Allah directly helped him and converted the soil into flour. Above all means that first you have to make effort on the land, then you plant the seeds, then the germination takes place and the seeds grow into crops. Once the crops are fully ripe and grown, then we have to cut them, then we have to grind and produce a flour from it. Allah changed the soil directly into flour. When a person believes that Allah's help and Allah's provisions is based on the creation, then we will be stuck in that. That Allah is dependent, we have to adopt the means, and only when Allah will give. Allah will give, Allah is the only one that will give, but we have to adopt these means. This is what people believe today. It's the biggest mistake people have made. That the means is land, but where it will come from is Allah. No, my dear brothers, the reality is that Allah is independent of all means. Allah does directly through His command. Allah doesn't do anything through the means. What is happening through the means? Because we see it, what is actually happening through the means are only a test for the believers. It is to test the believers. So Allah wants to is seeing that does this believer of mine, does he believe that this is the means through which I will do? Or does this person still believe that actually I am doing without these means? Whatever the system in the universe that exists, weaponry or medicine or superpowers of the world, or the land and whatever grows through it, whatever means we are seeing, in this is only the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala works in this. Allah has not created these means so that we can benefit from these means. No, Allah has created this only as a test for the believers. If a person says that it sometimes happens, that it may happen against what we see apparently, that sometimes it might happen, and it happens sometimes for the Sahaba, but this is not the Sunnah of Allah. You have to listen to this carefully. In every time, in every era, the fulfillment of any need through the asbab, the apparent asbab, this is only for test, for our test. It's only for the test of the insan. Allah is saying that we will do, we're going to see whether this person believes that this is happening from me directly, or does he believe that it's happening through these means. Basically, does he connect the creation with the creation, or does he connect the creation with the creator? Allah wants to see this. He wants to test this. Ibrahim alayhi salam rejected all of these means. And he broke all the statues, and the axe that he used to break statues, put it into the hands of the biggest statue. And then he's basically saying that if it does happen through these means, then he has done it. The big statue did it. And if it doesn't happen through these means, then why do you believe in these? The statues that he was referring to. Such a situation he put the people into that none of them had an answer. And then because they had no answer, they were angered, and they decided that the only thing we can do is just, destroy this person, we'll burn him. So the whole environment went against him. Everybody went against him. Everybody went against him. When he was being thrown into the fire, the Jibreel alayhi salam came and he brought the angels of the oceans and the mountains with him. Jibreel alayhi salam took permission from Allah that Allah, your friend is being thrown into the fire, give us permission to go and help him. But the reality is, if one friend to another friend is saying that if he is my friend, then why are you getting involved in our friendship? Basically, this is what Allah is saying. That we are our true friends. Why are you sticking your, you could say, leg inside? So, it's like the leader of a country says to you, look, you are my friend. Anything you need, come to me. A time comes when that person, he actually does need some sort of help. But now he goes to somebody else and says, can you help me in this? He doesn't get help from there. He goes to another person. Let me see if I can get help from there, or from there, or from there, or from there. Now this leader is watching and observing. When I told him that he should have just come to me, why is he going to all these people? Now when this person actually does come to that leader, do you think that leader, the king, will be happy? He will actually be displeased that I told you that if you ever need anything, come directly to me. Don't waste your time with all these people. He will actually be displeased. As an example, you will say, and you will actually feel that you've dishonored me. You should have just come to me, as I told you and as I asked you, rather than going to all these other people, trying to get that which only I can help you with. You've actually you degraded me. That's why we see, this is what people do today. They adopt all the means, and when they exhaust all the means and they don't get what they need, then they raise their hands for dua. This is like the example that king would not be happy with that person. Why? Because he has been dishonored. So if you think that a leader or a king in this position would become displeased, and do you think that Allah SWT, while seeing the believers going to all of the creation before finally coming to Allah, meaning putting Allah SWT in the end of the list, do you think Allah will be happy with this? So Jibreel salam took permission and then came. Allah SWT didn't send him. Jibreel salam took permission, and through his efforts he came. When Allah SWT sends the angels to help, this is not because that through the angels the help will come. Whatever expeditions that took place, the angels that came down the angels came to increase the number of the believers, or as a proof of the virtue of striving in the way of Allah. It wasn't because that Allah needed the angels to help. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent down armies of angels to help the prophets. So Ibrahim salam came and said to Ibrahim salam, "Come on, tell us, what do you want us to do?" Ibrahim salam rejected him also. He rejected Namrud, he rejected his parents, he rejected the statues. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, see now, does he also reject the greatest of all of the creations, Jibreel salam? Does he reject him also or not? If Ibrahim salam rejected all of the creation and then thought that this is a muqarrab, a close creation of Allah, Jibreel salam, that such a creation, that his head is on the arsh, his feet are on the ground, his wings encompass the entire universe, that he is the greatest creation of Allah, Allah wanted to see that creation of mine that has encompassed all of the universe. Does Ibrahim a.s. to save himself from the fire have any hope on this creation of mine or not? This is a very severe test for Ibrahim a.s. But Ibrahim a.s. he said that I don't need you. That I don't need you. Ibrahim a.s. said that I have no need for you. He said that, okay, if you don't need help from me, at least ask help from Allah. What did Ibrahim a.s. say? He said, say to Allah, Allah already is aware of my situation. He already knows exactly what plight, what situation I'm in. It's how Ibrahim a.s. rejecting all of the creation of Allah one by one reached to the limits of the fire. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directly commanded the fire to become cool. This was done through the command of Allah and is done directly from Allah. As I was saying before, sometimes Allah changes the thing itself, but Allah sometimes changes the effect of something. So the heat of the fire Allah changed. Or, like I mentioned, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala changed the caskets of the barrels of alcohol, changed them into honey. Unfortunately, people today, they believe that Allah has created the system and now the system is running on its own accord. This is not the case. One Sahabi came to Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and said that the camels they've got an itch spread amongst themselves. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam tested the Sahabi and asked that how did this itch, how did it spread? What did you see that? Does he say that is from the Amr of Allah, the command of Allah, or does he say that it's any other means? If he mentions that there is some other means, then this is the Ghairullah. Because Nabi Sallallahu always made effort to correct the yaqeen of the Sahabi. So the Sahabi answered that one camel caught an itch first, he caught the illness, and then because of the one camel, the rest of the camels caught the same. Nabi Sallallahu said that if one camel spread it to the rest, where did the first camel get it from? Give me an answer to this. That if all of the rest of the camels got it from one camel, where did the first one get it from? Nabi Sallallahu was testing. He's basically saying that if the rest of the camels got the itch from the first camel, then it is not Allah who has done this. actually what happened? That all of the camels got an itch directly from Allah. It wasn't the case that one camel got it from the command of Allah, and then the rest of the camels got it out of the command of Allah, without the command of Allah. It wasn't the case. Abdullah ibn Umar radhiyallahu anhu, saw that a person who had a certain illness of the skin, I think, what do you call it, leprosy or something, he would eat with that person and say that it is through the command of Allah that this person got this illness. And it's only through the command of Allah that I will get it. There is no such thing as from one creation, another creation is affected. People today, our belief has become corrupted. They don't go close to this person because he has such an illness, and you will also get the same illness if you went close to this person. No. This happens only through the command of Allah. You mentioned some example of a person who had illness of the eye, but I didn't catch it. Somebody suggested that we should go see such and such person, he has pain in his eye. So he only has pain in his eye? He's not really ill, he just has pain in his eye. But no, this is also sunnah. Nabi Sallallahu took a Sahabi to go and visit another Sahabi who had pain in his eye. And that person who is ill has 70,000 angels with him. The person goes to visit that sick person with 70,000 angels pray for that person. Then we have yaqeen on a doctor instead. We have yaqeen when a doctor says, don't go and visit this person, otherwise you'll catch the same illness. But we don't have yaqeen on the fact that 70,000 angels will be with you. We have yaqeen on one doctor, but we do not have yaqeen on the fact that 70,000 angels will be with us. And we fear the illness that a person has. But no, the fact is that it is through the amr of Allah, the command of Allah, that the illness comes. People say that don't go and see this person who is ill. You'll catch the illness. Then you should ask the doctor that how do you then treat that person? How do you then treat that person? If you're suggesting that a person who goes to visit a sick person will get sick, then how on earth do you treat that person? What kind of makhluk or creation are you that you do not catch the illness? So it cannot happen that one camel has got an illness from Allah and then the rest of the camels get this illness from that one camel. No, every camel has gotten its illness directly from Allah. Everybody catches their illness only through Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And every step of our life will be tested by this. Therefore, to remember Allah in these situations is dhikr of Allah. And forgetting Allah in these situations is known as ghaflat, heedlessness. Dhikr is not completing the morning and the evening tasbih. But remembering Allah in these situations is dhikr of Allah. A person can become free from doing his tasbih, but the real zikr is to remember Allah in these kinds of situations. Whenever any need occurs, you remember Allah directly. The needs of the creation of for us to actually remember Allah. That whenever any need occurs, we remember Allah. Science teaches us that the eclipse occurs when the moon comes in front of the sun. No, in this situation we should remember that no, this is the sign of the anger of Allah. That's what comes in the hadith. That's why we recite Salat al-Kusuf and we make istighfar, because in the hadith it comes that this is the sign of the anger of Allah. Nowhere it is mentioned that go and do investigation, go and investigate why the eclipse occurs. But instead we have been told that you should gather in salat in the situation of the eclipse, because this is a sign of the anger of Allah. Scientists will tell you the causes. No college will teach you that zina is the cause of earthquakes. If this was to be taught, if this was actually taught in the colleges, how much purified our ma'asharat will become. But instead in the colleges, it is taught otherwise, that this is the reason why earthquakes happen. Therefore, nobody's thoughts go towards the fact that it is because of the zina we are committing that earthquakes happen. But we have to say that those who connect the creation to the creation, they will forget the creator. My dear brothers, the gist of all of this talk, that whatever nidam and the system that Allah has created, the entire creation is only so that we can recognize Allah. That even when the prophets do an amal, Allah rejects that as well. When Nabi Sallallahu when he threw the soil and the people they could not see Nabi Sallallahu walking by, Allah Subhanahu told him that it was not you that threw the soil, it was Allah that threw the soil. Directly rejected. Allah Subhanahu directly negated this, that it was not you that threw the soil, dust, it was Allah that threw the dust in the eyes of these people. This was to show the ummah that that even the prophets cannot do everything Allah does. Today we think that the awliya and the pious people and the shaykh, they do. If a prophet cannot do, then who else can do? Nothing is in the hands of the prophets even. Even the prophets are incapable of doing anything. Nabi Sallallahu wanted that Abu Talib recite the kalima. He tried his full effort, but Allah did not desire. Allah revealed ayat that that person does not get hidayat when you wish, only that person gets hidayat why desire, why want. Nabi Sallallahu wanted to destroy Wahshi, but Allah gave hidayat to him. The one who killed and mutilated the body of Hamza and but Allah gave hidayat to him, whereas Nabi Sallallahu didn't want. But Nabi Sallallahu wanted hidayat for Abu Talib, and Allah did not give hidayat. Doctor has been keen upon his own skills. They are content that people in the businesses and the people who are in their jobs. But if Allah didn't want to give me success through this line, then why would Allah give me this? Allah has given me this means through which I can become successful. There are many people who don't have means and they are in distress. If Allah didn't want to give me ease and comfort through these means, then why would Allah give me these means? When a person sees that this person doesn't have any business or shop and he's struggling, and this person has 100 shops, Allah has given him so much. People think But if Allah didn't want to give us wealth, why would He give us a shop? If Allah did not want to give us wealth, why would He give us a shop and a means of earning? So listen carefully. That we, upon the small means that we have, there are certain things, means that are outside of our control. Bigger creation. You've got the jinn, you've got the winds. These are things that are outside of our control. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave Sulaiman alayhi salam power over these kinds of creations as well. Not just kingdom over the insan. Today the kings have kingdom and dominion and control over the insan only, but that even only over their bodies, not their hearts. But Sulaiman alayhi salam was given such a kingdom that he had control over the waters and the winds and the jinnat and the shayateen and the insan, of course, and the birds even, and all of the animals. They were all subjugated to the will of Sulaiman alayhi salam. After all these means that were given to Sulaiman alayhi salam, this was only for a test. All these means are only for testing. What test? That what does this person claim? Does he say that it is through these means that I can get? Or is it through somebody else that I'm getting? So such a kingdom as Sulaiman alayhi salam was given, such a kingdom that no other person has ever been given this kind of kingdom. Even if there was a person who was a king of the world, that would only be kingdom over the insan. And no other creation, not even the animals. A king of the world is only a king over the insan, not over the winds and the jinns or the animals or the birds. You cannot have kingdom over any of these kinds of creation. The kingdom is limited only to the insan and no other creation of Allah. But Islam was unique in this. Allah gave him kingdom over all of the creation. Today we get a small means and we believe that if Allah did not want, we would not have these means. And we believe that Allah wants to make me successful, therefore Allah has given me this means. If this was actually true, then the people who have means and asbab, they would not be crying tears of blood. Many examples you have. A person who has so many businesses, but when you go and investigate, you'll find out that the debts that he has are far beyond the earnings that he's getting through his multiple businesses. The person, he has a big factory, but when you investigate, you find out that his debts are far greater than the earnings that he's getting through his factories. So it is not the case that Allah has given us means because Allah wants to make us successful through those means. When the kingdom of Sulaiman alayhi salam is only for a test, then how can we believe otherwise for our businesses and our jobs? How can we become content on these small means that we have been given? Such great means Sulaiman alayhi salam was given, and that was a test. How can our small means be anything but a test? Every believer will be tested. Every believer will be tested. Every believer will be tested. The disbelievers are not tested. There's no test for the disbelievers. the reason why Allah gives success to the disbelievers through their asbab is because there is no test for them. This is where people, believers, fall into deception. That if the disbelievers are getting success through these means, why can we not get success through these means? The day that the disbelievers the day that the believers will realize that the asbab were a means of success only for the disbelievers and they were a means of test for us. They will come, we will realize this. The bigger the kingdom, the bigger the test. Sulaiman alayhi salam decided that I'm going to prepare 100 mujahid through my progeny, through my children. I'm going to prepare. He made intention that I want to create 100 mujahid and I want them to be from my offsprings, from within my offspring. So he spent the night with 100 of his wives, each one of his wives from a high lineage and with high strength, from such families that had a lot of children. His intention was great. His intention was great. And his method that he adopted was great. I think that we are doing such noble work. Therefore we gain success. No, Allah is showing that no, even if it is a great work, success only still will come through Allah. So out of the 100 wives, only one of his wives managed to become pregnant. All the rest of them were miscarriages. Only one of his wives became pregnant. And then what happened? Actually only one of his wives became pregnant. None of them became pregnant even. Only one of his wives. But then even before the life came into the baby in the womb of the mother, it was a miscarriage. So no person should claim that I will do such and such thing. Because Allah is saying that whatever you want to do is in my hands. Whatever you want to achieve is in my hands only. If anybody claims that I am going to do such and such thing, Allah will make you unsuccessful in that claim. Allah loves dua. Allah dislikes a person claiming that he will himself do something. But rather Allah loves dua. What is dua? Dua is basically you're saying that only Allah you will do. One is to say I will do. One is when you're asking from Allah, you're basically saying that Allah, I'm asking you why, because I know that only you will do. That is dua. We should not involve asbab in our du'as even. The more we involve asbab in our dua, the weaker your dua will be and the less yaqeen you will have on your dua. So Allah will accept it. For example, if a person says, "Oh Allah, put benefit in my shop," then the life of basically effect of that dua has been finished. Because in asking Allah, you put the shop in front. You put your business in front. That you are asking that Allah help me through your qudrat, through the shop. And the person is saying, Astaghfirullah, that Allah, give me shifa through this medicine. Then you have made that medicine a means through which Allah will give. Basically, you are saying that Allah, you are dependent on this medicine to give me. I'm taking this medicine, therefore give me shifa through this. Zakaria salam made dua for a child and asked from Allah in such a condition where neither of them were capable of bearing, of producing a child. He's basically asking Allah, Allah, the means have become useless, that I've become old, my bones have shriveled. There is no apparent means through which we can bear a child. But this is the situation in which we can ask you. People make dua keeping the asbab in front. If people do not have any asbab in front of them, they don't even make dua. And they only ask. People ask only on the basis of creation. People don't ask on the basis of yaqeen. Asking on the basis of yaqeen, or on the basis of asbab, is like the example of that person saying that Allah, the shop is mine, will make me successful in this shop, in this business. This is asking on the basis of asbab, not on the basis of yaqeen. Yaqeen is that Allah, asking on the basis of yaqeen is that Allah, I've prayed 2 rakah, Salatul Hajj. But Allah, I've done what you've asked me to do, now you fulfill your promise and provide for me. Sulaiman salam with 100 of his wives on this basis, that this is a noble intention that I have, and Allah through His qudrat will make me successful. SubhanAllah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made him fail in such a way that out of 100 wives, 1 became pregnant, but then there was no life that was put into that. He realized immediately the mistake I made, that with this intention, that I didn't rely entirely upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When this comes, that may Allah have mercy, may Allah have mercy on my brother Sulaiman. Had he said inshallah, then 100 babies would have been born. Had he said inshallah, not one of his wives would have been deprived of becoming pregnant. One of them would have become pregnant. And all of them would have given birth to a child. Had he only said inshallah. Nabi Sallallahu was asked that who were Ashab al-Kahf, and he said, I'll tell you tomorrow. For 1 month where he was stopped. In the days when morning and evening when he used to come, Allah SWT told him that, why did you say that I will tell you tomorrow? Why did you not say that inshallah I will tell you tomorrow? And my dear brothers, we today have taken the system of the universe as the real means. The whole gist of science, the teaching of science is this, where they connect the creation to the creation. And they accept only that which we can see. Research is done only on the apparent means, and research is done connecting the creation to the creation. But when this happens, then this happens. But when this happens, then this happens. if you had done this, then this would have happened. These people have forgotten Allah, who say that if you do this, then this will happen. And Ali says, if a person on his tongue puts a burning flame onto his tongue, and it burns his tongue, and the saliva and the blood in his tongue puts out that fire, it is better for him to do this than to say that because of this, this happened. And had you done this, then this would have happened. If you had done this, then this would have happened. You did this, that's why this happened. It is better to burn your tongue than to say such words. It is more befitting to burn your tongue than to say such words. These are all words through which you will forget Allah. You forget Allah through these words. Those who forget Allah, they forget Allah in the creation of Allah. Whereas all the needs that we face and all the creation that we face is so that we can recognize Allah through this creation, so that we can recognize Allah through these needs. All of the creation that we see is so that we can recognize Allah. If you talk about the ghayrullah, then the disbelievers will become happy. The disbelievers will become happy. If you do dhikr of the ghayrullah, they'll become happy. But if you talk about the oneness of Allah, then the hearts would shrivel up. The hearts would shrink. As Allah mentions, that if you praise the statues, look how happy they'll become. They'll become happy. What they'll say, look, Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is praising our statues. They'll become happy over this. Today, we should be ashamed. That if the Muslim says that if we were to praise the system of the disbelievers, they will get happy. They will get happy. This is fine. You don't worship what we worship. You don't believe what we believe. Just accept. Because the disbelievers know that that which we believe, the Muslims reject. So if although we don't claim to believe, but we just accept it as also something that is good, they'll become happy over this. We will not talk about the greatness of the land, meaning the creation. If we say that the creation is also great, that it's done through the earth, everything comes from the earth, this believer will become happy. The mizaj, the temperament of the disbelievers is everything that gives benefit to you is your God. This is what the disbelievers, the mushrikeen, believe. But anything that gives you, anything that benefits you, this is your God. If water gives benefit, then this is our God. Tree gives benefit, this is our God. The land gives benefit, this is our God. What they see is that the Muslims whatever means we see of benefit and harm. Umar Dinanhu did not kiss the Hajar al-Aswad, the black stone. Kissed it not because it is a stone of Jannat. Whereas Jannat is the place where we stay forever. It is a place to live forever. And the houses of the world, they are temporarily given to us. Can you kiss the stones of your house? You can't. What about that stone that is from a place where you will live forever? If you cannot worship the stones of your house, then you reject it directly. That you are nothing but a stone. There's no benefit or harm in you. Had I not seen Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam kissing you, I would not have kissed you. It's only because I saw Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam kissing you, that is the only reason why I'm kissing you. But the reality is you're nothing but a stone. You do not give harm or benefit. Had Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam not, had he not kissed you, I would not have kissed you. This is the thing we need to understand. My dear brothers, the most basic of things that we need to do is to mention and talk about the tawheed of Allah, the oneness of Allah. Because our aqidah, our base beliefs have become corrupt. You want to mention the knowledge of commands of Allah is for amal, is just to do the practice. But to talk about once you learn the knowledge of the commands of Allah, you've learned it, done. But to talk about the tawheed of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are never free from this. Because that in itself is maqsad. The maqsad of learning the knowledge of the commands of Allah, how to pray, etc. The maqsad is fulfilled once you've learned how to do the amal. But to talk about the tawheed of Allah, in itself is maqsad. You're not free from this ever. As soon as you stop talking about the tawheed of Allah, the ghairullah will make its place in your heart. So my dear brothers and respected listeners, that whatever the created system of the world that Allah has created, these are not rules. Today all of our efforts are moved away from the real means, which is the deen of Allah. We have moved away from this and we moved to the creation of Allah, the false means. Today all of our efforts are based on asbab, on material asbab and dua. Abu Jahl used to do the same thing. He used to hold the cloth of the Baytullah and make dua. This is what the mushrikeen used to do. Today the Muslims are doing the same. We adopt the means, the false means of the world, and then we make dua. We've connected our du'as to the asbab. Whereas Allah has not connected dua with asbab. Allah has connected dua with ibadat, with worship, with amal. Allah has connected dua with ibadat, with worship. Allah has connected dua with worship. Whereas we have connected our asbab, our du'as with the asbab. Everybody says, adopt the means, then Allah will fulfill. Everybody says. Whereas Allah has not connected the du'as with asbab, Allah has connected du'as with ibadat, with worship. Clearly mentioned. إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. And that's connected the dua with ibadah. We're basically saying, just like we cannot worship anybody other than you, just in the same way we cannot get help from anyone other than you. That you alone we worship and you alone we ask for help. You alone we worship, you alone we ask for help. Allah is not dependent upon the means. Very easy thing. Easy thing to understand is that Allah's qudrat is connected to His promises, not to the means. Allah's qudrat is not connected to the means. Allah's qudrat is connected, Allah's power, Allah's qudrat is connected to His promises. And the next thing is, and the promises of Allah are connected to a'mal. Allah's promises are with the a'mal that He has given, not with asbab. Completely false that the more a person exerts his effort, the more he will earn. It's completely false. There are many people who in a short amount of time earn much more. And there are many people who in a lot of time earn nothing. Many people will find that morning till evening, not a single customer comes. Morning till evening, not a single customer comes. Allah shows the rizq is only from Allah. The gaining of rizq is fixed only from Allah. Rizq is fixed. Now it is up to the person whether he gets that fixed amount of rizq provisions, through a halal way or a haram way. Through itaat or disobedience. It is up to the person. But the rizq is fixed. The amount of rizq is fixed, but Allah has left it to the individual to earn that rizq through a halal way or a haram way. People are deceived that if we earn this through a halal way, we will get more. If you lie, you will get more. If you tell the truth, you will get less. This is a completely wrong thought. How can it be when the amount is fixed by Allah that you can get more through a haram way? A person is eating, one eats more, one eats less. But we will ask them, why did you eat this much? But you've eaten too less. You've eaten too less. Whereas the reality is that every grain has been fixed with how much this person will take down his throat. And this question is a completely wrong question. And the person says, why have you eaten so less? Whereas from Allah only that amount was destined for that person to consume. That much is eaten, you can't eat anymore. That's why it comes in the hadith that do not force your guests to eat more. They have more, so they can't have more. It's a silly question. But the rizq from Allah is fixed. If he had eaten more, that was fixed for him. If the person didn't eat more, then that was fixed. That was because only that amount was fixed for him. The person only eats that is written and destined for him. So when a person thinks, if I do this, then this will happen. If I do this, then this will happen. It's wrong. Allah's qudrat is fixed with His promises, and His promises are fixed with His commands, the amal. With asbab, there is no qudrat of Allah connected, and no promises connected to the means, the asbab. To get to benefit from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah has given us commands. Allah has given us amal. To take benefits from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah has given us His commands. Whatever amal we have, the benefit of this we will get based on two conditions, two very important conditions. If these two conditions are not fulfilled, then the benefit of that amal we will not see. We will not see the benefits of that amal, of those amal. One is ilm, one is iman. Ilm and iman, knowledge and belief, faith. These are the two basic conditions of seeing the benefits of the amal. Until we do not have ilm and iman in our amal, that those amal are not accepted. When you send a message, you receive a confirmation that your message has been sent, delivered, like a money order. You receive a receipt to say that yes, the amount has been transferred. When an amal is accepted by Allah, you see and feel the effect of that acceptance straight away. People spoil their amal, the amal. And then they have hope that on this spoiled amal, they expect results straight away, and when they don't see the effect, they leave the amal. People adopt deen to test it, to experience it, to see that, let's see what happens out of it. But we need to adopt deen because of the command of Allah, not to test it. People base the deen on the experience. They will pray and see, let's see if we gain success through this prayer, through this salah. To do an amal, to experience and see what happens, this is enough to commit shirk. People who commit shirk, they are nothing but unsuccessful. And the believers, the true believers, are nothing but successful. People change their amal in exactly the same way. When a person doesn't get shifa from one doctor, he goes to another one. They're testing each one of them. People do amal for their hajat, whereas no amal is for hajat. No amal is for your needs. They pray Salatul Hajat for hajat, whereas the Salatul Hajat is not for your hajat even. If we don't understand this even, we pray Salatul Hajat for our meal. Even Salatul Hajat is not for your hajat, for your needs. Then if Salatul Hajat is not for your hajat, then how can any other amal be for your hajat, for your needs? How can any other amal be for your needs? Because all your needs are makhluk. All your needs are makhluk. Your illness is makhluk. Your hunger is makhluk. Your death is makhluk. Your marriage is makhluk. All your needs that you have, these are all makhluk. These are all creation. And ibadat is for your khaliq, is for your creator. It's not for your needs. Your ibadat are not for your needs. Your ibadat are for your creator. Your hajat, your needs are makhluk. But none of your ibadat is for your makhluk. It is for your creator. Think about this. That Jannat which is created forever. That Jannat which has been created forever. If there is no amal for that Jannat, then how could there be an amal for those things that will finish in this world? Think about it. Why is it that a person, when he has a need, then he comes to the masjid? When only the person has a need, then he comes to the masjid. That he came onto this amal because of the need that he felt, the hajat that he felt. Amal is not because of the needs, it is to fulfill the command of Allah. The person from childhood to the end of his life, he worships Allah as he ought to be worshipped, and in exchange of this, Allah does not give him anything, not even a drop of water, not one morsel of food, not one thread of cloth. Then Allah has full right over this. Why? Because living your life on deen is not a deal that you made with Allah. And I will do this amal because if I do this amal, then you have to give me these things. No, ibadat is the right of Allah. Ibadat is the right of Allah, not an exchange for the benefits from Allah. Ibadat, worship, is the right and the haqq of Allah. So if there's no amal for Jannah that will remain forever, how can there be an amal for dunya that will finish? Dunya is going to finish. Dunya will come to an end. What amal is there for the things that will finish? That dunya that will finish. What amal can there be for that dunya that will come to an end? Amal is only for Allah. If Allah through His fadl fulfills our needs of the world, this is a mercy from Allah. Who enters into paradise is a mercy from Allah. But my amal, my action is only for Allah. My action, my amal that I'm doing is only for Allah. If Allah fulfills any of my needs because of me doing some amal, this is a favor from Allah. Actually, the deal that we have made with our deen is similar to that we are doing in our businesses. And if I give some money to that person, he will give me the thing that I want to buy. This is the kind of deal we are making with our deen as well, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sahaba used to be scared of this. Those who were poor, they were content. The poor Sahaba were content because they had nothing in this world. Everything they will get in the akhirah. The rich, the wealthy Sahaba, they were concerned and anxious at all times. Today it's the other way around. Those who are breaking the commands of Allah and they're getting wealth, they're happy that Allah is giving me benefits. But those Sahabi whom Allah is pleased with, Allah gave wealth, they were anxious and they were scared, they were fearful. Not a single Sahabi who was wealthy went from this world in a happy state. They were always fearful over the possibility that what if Allah has compensated us for all of our struggles in this world already, that we get nothing in the hereafter. The person was to be told, for 1 year you'll get nothing. And then for 50 years, if you do sabr for this 1 year, then for 50 years or 100 years, you will get all your needs fulfilled. Then he will do sabr over that 1 year very, very easily. Very easily he will bear that 1 year. Today, eternal benefits and the eternal freedom of the hereafter, not bearing the temporary difficulty of this world. As you should give an example that those people who become incapable of working, they will get a pension. And the pension they will receive until they die. People, what they do, they take early retirement just so they can benefit from their pension. If they get their pension, they will leave their amal. Before they even reach that stage where they become incapable of working, they leave on the hope that they will get their pension. That's an example that they're giving. That they leave their wages, they leave their jobs because they want to take benefit from their pension. He's saying that you should remember always that no amal is done for hajat. Those people who do amal for hajat, for their needs, their deen will be temporary only. When the doctor, when they need something, they do it. When the halat change, when the conditions change, they will change. But as soon as the conditions change, their amal will change. They will leave the amal as well. When the halat and the conditions improve, they will stop doing amal. So my dear brothers and respected listeners, the gist of all of this talk, that in front of Allah we present our amal. We present our amal in front of Allah. Why? Because Salat al-Hajat is not for our hajat. Salat al-Hajat is to get close to Allah. Because those who get close to Allah, Allah listens to them. This is what I'm trying to say. Otherwise, what will happen through his entire 2 rakats of salat, he'll be thinking of his need. He won't even think about Allah. He'll be thinking of his need throughout his salat. He won't even think about Allah. The person will pray his salat, keeping his hajat, his need in front of him. He won't even think about Allah in front of whom he is praying. Amal is a way of getting close to Allah. And those who are close to Allah, Allah listens to him. So no amal is for our needs. There's no amal for makhluk, because your hajat, your need is makhluk. And there's no amal done for makhluk. Amal is only done for your khaliq, your creator. There's no amal done for makhluk. To learn this yaqeen, you have been given dawah. If there was any name given to this effort, you can quote that in one. This is the effort of correcting your yaqeen. So, my respected listeners, you need to go out with the dawah of this kalima. Otherwise, your belief on this kalima will not be corrected. Your belief on this kalima will not be corrected.